Hey everyone, Katie here from Thrift Your Heart Out, and today's video is going to be quite different, and it's something of a PSA. So recently I watched the documentary True Cost, and I was really moved by it, and I felt really compelled to come on here on my channel and share with you guys what I discovered from this movie and from my own research that I did later. So what this documentary is about is talking about the costs that it takes to create fast fashion. And for those of you that don't know, fast fashion are places like Forever 21, H&M, Target, Walmart, where it seems like they come out with a new item every single day, if not hundreds of new items every single day. They're creating at a really high pace because they're trying to just entice you for that minute and then they move on to the next thing. So it talks about the cost that it takes on the people making the clothing that are in those stores and also the cost on the environment. And I just needed to get on here and share with you guys about it because it kind of ties into shopping at thrift stores and shopping secondhand, because I believe that we're doing our part by shopping secondhand and not supporting these fast fashion companies. So today I'm going to be giving you guys some reasons that you should be thrift shopping if you aren't already. So the first reason that you guys should be thrifting is because you need to think about who made your clothes. So True Cost talks about a few different cities around the world and places like India and China and Cambodia, and the pressure that is put on the factory workers to create the clothing that is being exported back to America. And one of the stats that really stood out to me was that only 3% of American clothing companies are actually made in America. Everything else is exported. So these factory workers are under an immense amount of pressure to just bang out clothing every single day at crazy rates. So they are already in these really dismal conditions. They don't make a lot of money. They work in really cramped spaces and they're just under a lot of pressure. So I want you guys to think about that the next time that you're at one of these fast fashion stores, is think about the work that it went into making that piece of clothing that you're thinking about getting, and maybe just kind of reflect on that. And one of the ways that I like to kind of talk about this is I used to be a vegetarian, and the reason that I did that was largely in part by reading Skinny Bitch. And in that book they talk about thinking of the emotion and the mood that the animal was in before they were turned into your food. I mean, I hate to get graphic here, but if you think about the conditions that a cow is in, you know, they don't get to be out in the sunshine and in the pastures. They're in these really cramped spaces. It's dark, you know, they're not happy. So thinking about that as you ingest that meat in a burger or something kind of puts it all into perspective. You don't want to ingest that sadness. I mean, I'm getting a little crazy here, but that really stood out to me. So if you think about it in the same terms of a shirt in Forever 21 or a skirt that you're finding, and you think about those really awful conditions that these people are put in just to make that skirt, it's going to make you kind of think twice. And this whole video isn't made to make you guys feel bad or to judge you or to shame you. It's to educate you, because I was educated and I learned a lot, and it's really changed my view. So that's why I'm doing this. That's why I want to share it with you guys. It's just to make you knowledgeable. And if you decide at the end of the day, I still want to shop at Forever 21, that's fine. That is your choice, but I have to spread this gospel to you. I have to share it with you guys. So that's my very first reason for why you should be buying secondhand, is because the conditions that these people are put in are not good. And actually, one of the things that they share in True Cost are factory disasters that happened in Bangladesh. And in 2013 there were 3 major disasters that happened, including one of the largest factory disasters in history, and it killed 1,100 people. So you just think about, you know, people are dying for this. They're dying because we wanted a cute shirt or a pair of pants. I mean, it really makes you think. So that's kind of the first reason. I know it's really heavy, but I had to share it with you guys. So the next reason that you guys should be buying secondhand is because these fast fashion companies are creating an amazing amount of textile waste. And I actually did my research. I've got my little notebook here. So I went on to the Council for Textile Recycling website, and I'll make sure to leave links to all of the websites that I mention here in this video so that you guys can check it out and do research later if you so choose. So on that website, I discovered that the US generates an average of 25 billion pounds of textiles per year, which averages out to about 82 pounds per US resident. And only 15% of that amount gets donated for reuse and recycling. Everything else is sent to the landfills. And textile waste actually occupies nearly 5% of all landfill space. So it's taking up a lot of space. And it's due large in part to the fact that these companies are banging out clothes so quickly that they don't care about quality. They don't really care if it falls apart a week after you get it, because you know what? They already have your money. So if a button falls off or if the zipper breaks, you know, that's kind of your thing to deal with. But then our natural inclination is to go, oh, I'm just going to throw it in the trash. Nobody wants it. But the great thing is that these clothes can actually be reused. They can be used again and again for different purposes. So even if it does have a tear or it's worn, or you know, you just aren't going to wear it anymore and you don't think anyone else is going to wear it because of the condition that it's in, still recycle it, because those thrift stores will do something with it. So of those discarded items that are given to thrift stores, they kind of break it into many different categories. So 45% of what thrift stores receive is actually exported and repurposed in third world countries, because they can use it for other reasons that we have already determined that we can't use it for here in the States. 30% is recycled and converted, 20% is recycled into fiber, which I think is kind of cool and I didn't know that, and only 5% ends up as waste. So thrift stores are really doing their part. They're really trying to extend that lifeline of the item that has been discarded. So that's something to really consider, and I know that I've fallen victim to going, oh, this shirt is worn, it's got a tear in it, nobody wants it, I wouldn't want to find it on the thrift store, you know, shelves. But they can really do something with it. So I know that from now on, even if something isn't wearable to me, I'm going to go ahead and donate it anyway, because the people that are running these thrift stores make the determination of what category that it's going to go into. So I definitely want to convince you guys to think about the lifeline of your clothing and how we can keep extending it instead of just throwing something away. So the next reason that you guys should be buying secondhand is because of the environmental impact that it takes to create these fast fashion pieces. And in True Cost, they talk about the cotton fields and how the people running these cotton fields cannot keep up with the demand of the fast fashion owners. So they go to a field in Cambodia, and there they're using these crazy pesticides that are really damaging to the air. And the kids actually in surrounding communities are getting really sick, and they're getting deformities and all of these other awful side effects of the pesticides that are in the air quality. So that's something to think about as well, that if there's not enough cotton, I mean, if we can't keep up with the demand, why do we keep making them? The earth can't sustain the pressure that's being put on it. I mean, honestly, things are depleting really quickly, and it's just something that we can't sustain. And one of the people that they talk to in True Cost is a cotton field owner in Texas, and she's advocating for a more organic treatment of the cotton. And the way that she put it was genius. She said, think about what you're putting on your body. We get very interested in the things that we're putting into our body, but then we don't think about our biggest organ, which is our skin. So people don't think about the fact that pesticides are being put on these shirts, and they're just putting them on without even thinking twice about it. So that really stood out to me, and I really thought, oh, she's completely right. We don't really care about the pesticides that are being put into the air, even though they cause a lot of damage. So that's one of the ways that fast fashion is kind of damaging the earth, and something to just keep in mind. So the clothing that is being produced by fast fashion companies is also harmful to our water supply. I found out a crazy statistic, which was that one t-shirt uses 700 gallons of water, and one pair of jeans uses 1,500 gallons of water to be produced. That's astounding. Like, I had no idea that so much water supply was being put into creating these pieces of clothing. So of course it goes back into the environmental impact and the fact that we don't have a huge water supply. So we really do have to consider how much is being put into producing these pieces that are just going to be discarded later. I wanted to make sure to bring it back to the second reason that I gave you guys for shopping secondhand and talk about the environmental impact that textile waste in landfills has, because it doesn't end there, unfortunately. They actually give off really terrible toxins into the air as they start decomposing, because there are chemicals in the dyes that it takes to create clothing and shoes. So it actually gives off methane, which is a harmful greenhouse gas, so that gets into our atmosphere and causes a lot of damage. But then also those chemicals get into our soil and water supplies and contaminate it. So it's kind of not done by the time that it gets to the landfill. It still creates a lot of havoc, and these are things that we really have to think about as we're adding to the discarded items that are in landfills. So the last reason that you guys should be thrifting is because thrift stores actually do a lot of good, and this is a huge reason for why I have been thrifting for the past few years, is because I would much rather put my money into supporting a nonprofit organization that does really amazing things in my community, rather than supporting a large corporation that's just there to get greedy and fill their own pockets. So whether it's helping people get job training and get back into the working world, or it's helping a kid get educated, or it's giving medical care, there are so many nonprofits out there that are supported by the monies that are made in thrift stores. So it kind of puts it all into perspective that if you're going to go shopping and you're going to buy yourself a new dress, why not have that money do some good? So I really want you guys to consider that. It's such a huge reason for why I'm a thrifter. I just think, you know, we need to support the people that are in our own communities and help them out however we can, even if it's not directly. So thrift shopping is a great way to do that. In addition to thrifting, there are some other ways to not buy fast fashion. So you can do things like host a clothing swap with your girlfriends to see if there's anything that you want of theirs, or vice versa. So it's kind of giving those discarded items another chance. You can also go to online thrift stores like thredup.com and see if there's anything that you'd like, because those are all secondhand items that are up for sale. You can also buy fair trade items, which are pieces of fashion that are created with more sustainability in mind and care for the workers that go into creating those pieces. And you can also buy items that are made here in the States, which you can check out madeinusachallenge.com. Again, I'll make sure to leave that in the down bar below. But it's a website that shows you all of the companies that actually make their items here on US soil. So it's places like LL Bean, American Apparel, Splendid is on there. So they actually have a lot better conditions here in the States than they do overseas for making clothing. So you want to make sure to support those USA companies if possible. But of course, if you can buy secondhand, that's always best. Alright you guys, so those are my reasons for why you should be thrifting, and I know I've given you a lot of stats today, but I hope you really consider not only shopping secondhand, but totally eliminating fast fashion from your wardrobe. And I want us to use the hashtag #BanFastFashion on Instagram and Twitter to show that we're actually making a change and that we're not going to keep shopping at these fast fashion stores. They just do a lot of damage, and I hope that I've shown that to you guys today. But if you haven't done it, make sure to check out True Cost, the movie. I'll make sure to leave a link to it in the down bar below. It's life-changing, it's eye-opening, and it's amazing, and you guys really need to watch it. So if you guys happen to be thinking something along the lines of, you know, there's not enough clothing in the thrift stores, if we're all going to be shopping there and not buying at these fast fashion stores, trust me, there's enough clothing to go around. There's been enough that's been discarded that will take quite a while to get through it. But I really want to convince you guys to give secondhand clothing a try. I found some really awesome things which I've shared here on my channel, so I'm sure that you guys can find some awesome things too. So again, I want to say make sure to check out True Cost. It's a Netflix exclusive, so I'll make sure to leave a link to it in the down bar below, but you guys have got to give it a watch. It's amazing. And if you guys have any further questions, make sure to leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them or to give you a resource to check out the answer. And as always, thanks for watching and happy thrifting. Bye!